What's going on, everybody? It's another garden update. This is the result after 12 days after my last update. And as you can see, things have changed a lot. A lot of growth took place in those last 12 days. And also a lot of changes with one particular crop. And I'm actually pretty surprised at this growth at one particular crop. So, let me show you what's been going on. To start off, I may have to do a harvest video for the lettuce and spinach because they grew pretty fast. I think the harvest or maturity date for lettuce and spinach is between 45 and 55 days. So more likely, it'll probably be at the end of this month or probably the beginning of May that I'll probably harvest the lettuce and the spinach. And also the kale that I put in here is also doing okay. I actually transplanted these after growing them in, I guess like in a paper towel and a Ziploc bag. It looked like they pretty much survived. I actually planted 4 in here, but the other 2 didn't do too well. I don't think there's, oh, there's the other one. So in many cases, 3 survived. So I have to see how well these actually do in the coming months. The carrots are actually doing pretty good as well. I did thin some of them out, but it doesn't look like I thinned them out at all. I guess pretty soon, sometime next month, we'll actually have a carrot growing under all this foliage. But I have been feeding them, and I've been watching out for the pests that actually afflict these carrots, or the carrots in general. So I haven't really had too much problem with pests growing carrots, but I'm still watching out for the pests to make sure they don't do anything to the carrots as they continue to grow. But the results are looking really good. The kale has gotten quite large, and pretty soon I'll be harvesting the kale. And this is after probably 1 feeding. And also in this container, the turnips and carrots are growing pretty good. Even though they're pretty much being shaded by the kale that's in here, they're still growing pretty good. So possibly along with the kale, I'm hoping to harvest some carrots and possibly a turnip when it's all said and done. But we'll have to see. The beets are actually doing really good as well. I didn't thin them out. I'm a little concerned that all the beets that's in here, that's growing in a cluster, might not actually have any good size to them, but in many cases the beets will probably be in the containers until sometime in June. So hopefully things will do or improve throughout the coming weeks, and hopefully the beets will actually get some size to them. But I might change my mind and probably just thin them out and see what happens. I might thin a couple of them out and just let the rest of them grow in a cluster. But things are looking pretty good with the beets. And hopefully I'll actually have a good harvest video for the beets. And actually have some beets to pickle this year. But the crop that's actually been showing a lot of growth and improvement is the potatoes. They've grown a lot since the last garden update that I made. And there's also a little bit of changes that I want to show. And that is, it's starting to flower. There's a couple of plants that have some flowers on them, or about to flower. I haven't really checked to see if there's any potatoes peeking out of the soil, but I might go ahead and do that now, and hopefully I don't damage any of the plants. There's just so much foliage, it's hard to tell. But I guess I have to check after the update is done. But that is a lot of growth out of 10 potatoes. I guess it's one of those varieties that do flower. There's some that probably don't. They just grow a lot of foliage and die out, but this one is pretty different. So hopefully I actually have a successful crop, as I said in the last two videos, and actually show you a good harvest out of this crop. And lastly, in this container I planted 15 kale transplants. 14 of those plants were eaten up by birds, and I only have one kale left in this container. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to transplant this transplant to another container and replace it with tomatoes. So I'm going to grow a tomato for the summer crop in this particular container, and hopefully it does well, since my kale plants have actually pretty much got eaten up by birds. So that's pretty much it for my garden update. If you like what you see, leave a like. If you have questions, comments, leave it in the comment section. That is it for now, and happy gardening.